Montana, a sprawling outdoorsman's Eden with ice-covered peaks and unspoiled wilderness. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of the last best place. In Montana's Region 2, State Game Warden Joe Cambick patrols the Deer Lodge Valley. His first call comes quickly.
Hello?
Hey, Joe?
Yes.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, I got these duck hunters back and I caught them trespassing.
Okay. Are they at the bridge?
Well, yeah, that's where his truck parked, and they were walking across there, and I yelled at him, and he just jumped in the river. But they were trespassing.
You did see him off the high water mark?
Yeah, they were out there walking across the grass out there, off there in the grass. So.
Okay. I will. I'll drift that way and see if I can catch up with them.
Okay, real good.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Apparently, some waterfowl hunters are down here on this private land. You can use the stream access to be on the river, but they can't get off the river. They can't get out of the ordinary high water mark. Landowner caught them outside the ordinary high water mark. Apparently, the landowner and the hunter have already gotten into a dispute, so we're just gonna have to go down here and see if we can find them, be careful, and see what's going on, get their side of the story too. Where are these guys?
Suddenly, the warden spots his suspect.
He's back in his truck.
Montana's hunting season draws elk and deer hunters by the thousands. Turns out Big Sky Country's duck population lures in plenty of waterfowlers too. Cambick won't get close this time.
I said I knew I couldn't catch him once I saw him closing that back up. But we've dealt with him before. I rode him last year. Same thing.
The trespasser speeds off and leaves Cambick in the dust. He won't wait long for his second call.
Hey!
How's it going?
Good, how you guys doing?
Okay. We went over through the cutoff. Somebody shot a bull over there. He's laying up on that mountain.
Where at?
On the cutoff.
The cutoff back there for Dunkelberg.
The Dunkelberg cutoff. And they didn't know where he went and got him?
We don't know if he's still alive or what.
Laying down. He's there and he won't
He's all hunched up. We can take you up.
Why don't you show me where he's at?
The warden follows the complainant to the shooting scene. On the way, he calls another warden to try and intercept his trespassing suspect.
Kyle Miller,
What up?
I need you to write me a couple tickets.
Okay.
The deal is he trespassed, he was duck hunting on the river, caught him off of the high water mark,
Okay.
and I cited the same guy last year for the same thing, and he was giving him the business.
Yeah.
But thinking two terms here, criminal trespass and hunting without landowner permission, because the dude knows better.
Okay. And this happened yesterday?
This happened today. I tried to catch him in there, but he got out and got away from me, but that's okay, I got his plate.
Okay.
He's headed your way now. He left here about, what, 20 minutes ago?
Okay.
So he's headed your way now, so you can probably catch him before the evening hunt comes on. Now I'm gonna go look for a wounded elk, so if you got any other questions, give me a shout.
Okay, let's do that.
Good day, Warden.
All right. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
See you later. I love me some Kyle Miller, but he's stranger than fiction. He should be in a Stephen King novel.
In Montana's Region 2, the Streamlight Spotlight focuses on Highway 200, where state game wardens set up the Bonner check station. This area is known for a high number of hunters.
Who got it?
Son.
All right. We'll need to see your conservation license and we'll take a peek at it.
I want them.
Yeah. I'm sure you do if you got an elk tag. You couldn't buy an elk tag without it. Well, this was your year.
Where'd it come from?
Condon.
Oh, okay.
Wardens Ezra Schwalm and Aaron Berg stop hunters. These mandatory checks ensure hunters follow state game laws. The stops also provide important information to state biologists.
Looks like you got something to show us, huh?
What do you got?
Mule deer. Oh, one of them busted off, huh?
Broke off?
Rolling down the hill.
I'll be darned.
Huh? You got conservation license as well then?
Here, I'll get
We'll
the tag.
dig
You
that
wanna
out
dig
if
that
you grab that for us. That'd be fine. Oh, that thing just popped right off of there, didn't it?
Is that fine?
It's a general area over there, though. You don't need a permit
Right.
to hunt mule deer. Who got the ducks?
I did.
Okay. Is that the only 2 ducks you got in here?
There's some frozen in the cooler.
Are they whole?
No, they're, well, gutted.
They're gutted, but are they whole so we can identify them? Did you leave the legs on them with the spurs?
Those were from his parents' house. I got them a while ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was like a bring them back for orange meat.
Okay. So they were previously frozen
Yeah,
already?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, but these are fresh ones that you just killed?
Saturday, we were gonna cook them up tonight.
Okay, because when you're transporting this stuff that you just killed, you have to leave the legs and spurs, the feet on them. These I can understand, okay, you killed a while ago. How many weeks ago did you kill all these?
Like 2-3
weeks.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, whatever. Technically, when you're transporting them, if you know you're going to be bringing this stuff home, you got to have those feet on there because we don't know if they're hens or not.
Right.
But just for future reference, just make sure if you are going to be transporting this fresh stuff, it's just like having a deer leaving the head on. We can obviously tell that's a buck, okay? But we can't honestly tell that this is a male pheasant. Okay, so yeah, just in the future, make sure and do that. It's not the end of the world, but
We'll just write one written warning. So, okay, if you grab me your conservation license again, we'll scratch that out.
if you want to hustle that up in there, you're sure
got it.
welcome to, and then
Nothing you
we'll
have to
pack
do
all
with
this
it,
up for you.
I'll explain it to you when I get it done, but you know, all it is written warning. Once you leave here, you're done with it. Okay, no fine, no nothing. All right.
Well, I think you might have made a mistake because the hunting doesn't open till noon in here. That's the rules of the block management.
In Montana's Region 2, a passerby stopped State Game Warden Joe Cambick to report a potential poaching case.
They're hunting and they're not supposed to.
I see that. All right.
This driver says someone shot and wounded an elk before legal shooting time.
How are you? Good. Is this your crew up here on the hill?
Yeah,
Okay. Who's up there?
my parents.
Your parents?
Are we in trouble?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna find out. I think that the hunting doesn't start till noon. It's 20 after 11.
Okay.
But I don't think, I'm not gonna take you to jail.
Okay.
If that's what you're worried about. Okay. So are you just bringing them some stuff here? All right. Let's go have a visit. Who shot the elk? Did he? Okay. Well, I think you might have made a mistake.
Why?
Because the hunting doesn't open till noon in here. That's the rules of the block management.
Well, when I come by, he was bedded down. Somebody had shot him in the ass.
So you put him down?
That's all I did.
Okay.
I tagged him because that's the legal thing to do.
Okay.
All I knew is that this was block management. That's all I knew.
You didn't know the rules for the block management?
I didn't know they changed it.
Okay.
It used to be you could hunt whenever.
So he was laying down out here when you got here? Where at?
I spun him around, but he was bedded down right here. This is his blood trail going back up.
So how long ago did you get here?
Oh, about 10 minutes ago.
You just started dressing him?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, all right. Well, let me pull this tag off of here. There's a warden from Phillipsburg coming up, and he knows more of the situation here. Okay. So I got to talk to him before I do anything. But if your story checks out, see, I was told that there was a couple other injured elk, so that could very well be.
We actually saw him on the road, and I come back up, and I went and got the permission slip map, so I knew where I was at.
And you got signed in? Is this a sign-in deal?
No, there's no sign-in area.
So you just can only hunt until noon. Did you see the map should have the rules on it?
I didn't even look at the front side. I just looked at the map itself.
Okay. Well, I'll have you do is just go ahead and continue to dress this elk. Start working on getting it back. I'm going to talk to the other warden once he gets here.
Warden Cambick calls fellow warden Terry Althouse.
Go ahead.
You're up here with those people pulling that one out.
Yeah, he claims he came by and saw it. It was injured and he put it down.
Okay. Well,
Turns out Warden Althouse is across the valley with a second group of shooters. They admit to shooting the elk before legal hunting hours. The wardens meet up to figure out how to handle the case.
This guy got trigger happy or what?
They were coming up out of here and they got the 3 crossed. He shot his. She shot at hers. They felt like they had possibly hit the 3rd one in an overlap situation. So they were looking and they found the wounded one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
So he went down and called Tipmont and said, I might have injured, or we might have injured one. So Tipmont called, I called them back, and in the meantime, they realized they'd forgotten that you couldn't hunt off this road until noon.
Okay. There's 3 bulls?
There's 3.
Okay. What do you want to do?
So this one, somebody put it down.
This guy in the white truck, he came out, he put it down. He didn't know the rules of the block management. He just seen it was injured. He went out, he shot, he tagged it.
Okay.
This guy was the one that turned it in originally, in the blue truck, and he's the one I followed up here.
Okay.
So they're pissed, obviously, because the hunting, I mean, they were trying to hunt up here and they were going to follow the rules.
Yeah.
And then he goes out there. So it wasn't them that did it, it was these guys that did it. We want to just allow that to just be okay.
I think that's probably the best solution, don't you?
Yeah. I don't know what to tell these guys here.
Did they see it wounded?
Yeah. And they
passed it up and they came and called you?
Yep. Well, I think we can come to a gentleman's agreement here. Maybe they can share some elk or something.
Yeah.
In Montana's Region 2, State Game Wardens Joe Cambick and Terry Althouse try and sort out a complex poaching case. 2 hunters shot 2 elk and accidentally wounded a 3rd before legal shooting time. Wardens decide to ticket the shooters and confiscate their 2 elk. But that's only half the story.
So, he even admitted it. He said he just let the excitement get the best of him. And apparently there was a herd of elk, obviously full of bulls, because they do a little bit of shooting and 3 end up dying. And sounds like possibly an overlap situation where he shot through one and hit another one. Both those 2 bulls died on that ridge. And the 3rd bull went over into this next saddle where it went down and laid there, not dead. When another hunter comes up the road, he shot the elk because he didn't want to see it suffer, which I can commend him for that. And then he tags said elk. Problem is, the guy who originally saw the elk, he came and found us when we were down there chasing the duck hunter around and said that there's an injured elk and I know I can't shoot it. So we're gonna try to make some sense out of this and see if we can come to a gentleman's agreement between these 2 hunters. The one guy, yeah, he was trying to do the right thing, but he did it wrong. The other guy absolutely did the right thing. And neither case, it's a big deal. So we're gonna chat it up here for a minute and see if I can play Dr. Phil and maybe that's not a good example. Judge Judy, we'll go with that, and see how it works. Howdy. Not much. Where's that elk? You got him here yet? All right, well, let's talk about this for a minute.
I wish we would. I'd like to know what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what's going on. These folks saw that elk and they knew that they weren't supposed to hunt here. They could have done the same thing you did, but they knew the rules. You didn't exactly know the rules. Did you do something very wrong? No. You did what you thought was right, but you got to understand that it doesn't open until noon on this road. So here's what I'm thinking. For your mistake, a written warning. This elk?
It's yours.
Nope.
Mine?
How about you guys take it and split it? If you want to give these guys a quarter or a half or a backstrap or some tenderloins or whatever, I think that'd be a gentleman of you. Awesome.
The two hunters agree to split the last elk, and Warden Cambick closes the case. Back up the road at the Bonner check station, Wardens Ezra Schwalm and Aaron Berg work into the night.
I was trying to light up the sign with this new stream light.
Just after sunset, a truck pulls over with a deer in the back.
So who had luck tonight? Yeah. You're the lucky one tonight? No, it doesn't.
Not me.
Oh, gotcha.
Where do we get this one at? That block manager about the
Will's Ranch?
I have a map.
All Ranch?
Okay.
Back 5.
And this was in Hunting District 292? I believe it's 260.
Out of the bottom.
Wardens do a bit of research and discover the hunter illegally shot and killed the doe.
Did you read the regs before you killed this thing?
I just knew that it was general, so.
Well, it's a doe.
Yeah, I just threw the general on it.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to kill a buck with this.
I thought it was general. I thought it was either section of general.
He was hunting just up the highway here, and he harvested a whitetail doe in a hunting district in which your general license isn't good for a doe.
Here's what you could be looking at is hunting during closed season, because there's no season for this. And for that, it's like $535 in fines and 2 years loss of privileges. Okay. And then, you're in possession of an unlawful white-tailed deer right now, okay? And that's a separate fine, okay? What we're gonna do is, because you're being upfront with this, we don't think that you're trying to do it. I think that you just got mixed up.
I wasn't obviously trying to break it.
I'm kind of looking at it as a negligent type thing, not a purposeful thing, but you negligently didn't look at the regs good enough to know what you're supposed to shoot, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with a smaller citation on this. You won't be able to keep the deer. Sorry about that, okay? But I just can't let you take off with it, okay? So it's just going to be a commission roll and reg citation. It's a $135 citation. We're not going to take your privileges or anything like that, okay? So you can keep hunting. But yeah, in the future, we really need you to look at this. The only reason that we're doing it this way is because you're being upfront and honest with us. If you were trying to be fishy, we're like, no.
Yeah, there was also hunting without a proper license citation, and then restitution for the animals, a few $100 too. So you really could have got stung. Mistakes happen, and he's going to go away with a NTA, and he's losing his deer, but hopefully he learns from that. So next time he'll know.
Wardens hope this hunter learns a hard lesson. Just as soon as they wrap up the stop, another truck pulls in.
Hi there. Looks like we have a lot of tags to look at, so you might as well hop out. Oh, Lordy.
In the back of the pickup, a mess. Wardens discover multiple deer racks and plenty of unwrapped meat.
It's the one with the big...
This one is the big muley right there.
This one right here.
And that's my tag.
Okay, if you go ahead and take that off for me.
And then there's another tag on this one's legs, because we're getting some of these processed.
Okay, how many deer total?
4.
4 deer, okay.
Do any of these carcasses have proof of sex still on them? I think everyone. Because you detached the head, so you still got to have
on his deer, all right there.
I can start working on that.
Okay, and which body belongs to this one? This one does? Oh, there's the proof of junk right there.
After sorting through the truckload of deer and tags, this harvest
Good,
checks out.
But evidence of sex on the body, everything's good, bud. Appreciate it. That's a nice deer. Yep, nice deer. Appreciate you guys having all the proof of sex, everything attached. Well, you guys had a good trip.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, good for you. Everything was good there. There wasn't a single violation. Heads were removed. Proof of sex was on every carcass. The only thing we asked them to do was leave the tags on the carcasses instead of the antlers, but that is a prime example of how to do it, right there.
Montana State Game Warden Nick Taylor is on his first call of the day in the Sarpy Basin area. He responds to a trespass call.
So right now, we're heading into the Sarpy Basin, which is in Big One County. We got a call late last night about some trespass activity on a block management area. Sounds like it's been current for a couple years now, and finally the landowner has had enough and decided that he wants to pursue some hunt without land permission charges. Sounds like they had quite the ordeal last night. Anyways, so we're heading up to the ranch, and then hopefully we'll end up contacting and running into these hunters. They're from the western part of the state, so hopefully we're not going to miss them. They didn't go home. Just go from there. There's John.
The warden arrives and finds the complainant already waiting on him.
Howdy. Nice to see you.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I met you in it.
Yeah, we did that one day. Yeah, we sure did.
The landowner gets right down to business.
You know, I heard him shoot, and I thought it was some friends that were up there hunting.
Sure.
And anyway, then when I ran into my friends, they said, well, they seen the outfit up there.
What color is the Ford Expedition?
It's kind of a green color. You know, like I said, if it's on here, that's the license number. This guy was at the vehicle when we got there. They were parked right in here.
Okay, and they walked into this country. It's real breaky country.
Yep, you know, this is a big, pretty much open flat.
Yeah. You know, if they're still up at the house, we'll address these things. I'm hoping they haven't started returning back to Western Montana. If they have, I'll have a game warden in Darby or Hamilton address this with them. But given the situation, do you want to pursue hunt without land permission on all three of these guys?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. And
I guess if you wouldn't mind, if you just at some point get back with me and just let me know.
What I'll do is we're gonna go up there right now, and we'll come back.
Montana's block management program pays landowners to open their property to public hunting. This landowner says hunters continue to trespass on his property without permission. Now he wants them stopped.
We're gonna go up to this block management again. If these guys are in there again this morning, catch them in there one more time, that'd be good. But I mean, they're probably smart enough to stay out of there now after the landowner caught them. But you never know.
Montana Game Warden Nick Taylor is in search of suspected trespassers in Region 5. He has a clue about their last known whereabouts, but isn't sure if they've already skipped town.
There's a bloody tarp there. Said if I have to. Hey there. How are you, buddy? Anybody home? Come on. Come on.
A local landowner accuses nearby hunters of repeatedly hunting on his property without getting permission. Now it's up to the warden to find answers. It appears no one is home, but the warden finds obvious signs someone's been hunting.
With the way those fence posts are up against that door, Wonder if there's not a deer hanging in there.
Warden Taylor decides to stake out the property and wait for someone to show up.
It's a ranch truck driving the hill up there. Yeah, we just gotta wait them out. If they're still here, and they haven't killed anything this morning, then they'll probably come back for lunch sometime. Oh, he's pulling in. I think he's pulling in. We'll go talk with him.
Taylor spots someone pulling into the house. He decides to go ask a few questions.
Howdy!
How you doing?
Good, how are you? Yeah. Are you Dave?
Yeah.
Dave, we've never met before. My name's Nick Taylor.
Oh, I'm
Game
Warden,
Warden.
sir.
Oh, you probably met plenty of Game Wardens and living out in this
Oh,
country,
in this
but
place, yes.
yeah, we've never had a chance to meet you though. Have you had some hunters out?
Yeah.
Do you have some hunters here right now? So the reason I'm here, Dave, is it seems like some of the guys that were hunting here got onto some of John's property
That's
yesterday.
what they said last night when I got here. And
yeah.
what they said they did, see, they hadn't been here since before Johnny got those leases when I still had them.
Oh, okay.
And what they did is they tried calling me Wednesday, and I was out here and it went off my cell phone. And
Okay.
they got crisscrossed in here.
Okay.
And they did is they went down on this first field thinking it was still mine.
And they ended up harvesting an animal?
Yeah, they got a deer on
They got deer. What kind of deer did they get?
It was a little 4-point mule.
Little feeler point. Have they got anything else since?
Yeah, I got one over next to him on the fence up here.
Okay, another muley?
Yeah.
Okay, so they got a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Good deal. And the bucks are still up on the place now?
Yeah.
They're here, okay. Well, I know we don't have any cell phone coverage in here today,
Yeah, exactly.
but do you know where they're at right now?
They're down here somewhere.
Down
They're
here?
Going down in because they're usually really good hunters. They park and walk through everywhere.
Sure.
And not driving through the mud like everybody
Yeah.
does.
Well, that was a nice little tidbit he gave us there. So it sounds like these guys not only trespassed when they shot this first mule deer buck, but it sounds like they shot the second mule deer buck and it jumped the fence and died on the same land that they were trespassing the first time. So who knows? We'll get to the bottom of the story. And it sounds like some group of guys from western Montana come out to this part of the state, big open country, and they just kind of lose it a little bit. So we'll figure it out.
Coming up.
I just didn't want to leave him here, and I don't know what you guys do in this situation.
Yeah.
A warden tackles a bizarre situation.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna make it, huh?
Today's Streamlight Spotlight shines on Region 5, where Warden Lee Burrows responds to a very unusual call. A panicked hunter reported a deer kill that could be a mess for the warden.
Hi. Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just called and left a message, so.
Okay.
I'll just follow you back. I'll turn around and. So that's looking down Fat Egg Creek, kind of toward the north to the Mussel Shell.
Both men head back to the kill site.
So, tell me what happened.
I shot him. They were fighting. I shot the one, and when he dropped, they both dropped with him. I didn't think they were tied up, honestly.
When you shot the one?
Yeah.
So the one you shot dropped.
Oh, instantly, and the other one stayed with it and drug it.
And then, but you still got your tag, or?
It's on him.
How did you get it on him with the other one dragging
I had to go
him?
up and watch him and tie it on his foot.
Mm-hmm. While the other one's dragging him around?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't want to leave him here, and I don't know what you guys do in this situation.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean? I don't want to shoot another deer I don't have a tag for.
Right. That'd be a little bit problematic, wouldn't it?
So,
well, maybe I
feel bad for the guy, because, I mean, he's got to be getting wore out.
Yeah. Well, we'll go up there and see what we've got, but...
hopefully he's off, but...
Yeah, and maybe that'd be the best case scenario, but I'll take a shotgun with me and we could, maybe shoot an antler off the other one or something.
Okay.
That work?
I don't care.
It sounds like the 2 bucks had their antlers tangled. Now the warden needs to track them down. A 20-minute hike, and Warden Burrows discovers the 2 bucks.
Well, the one's still alive. I think that one's he's bleeding out of his mouth there a little, isn't he?
See, he's stuck there. I think that's it. You want me to try? I can try. That's the worst I can do. I mean, I don't think...
Oh, here we go.
You don't look like he's got a whole lot of fight left. Oh, he's got guts coming out or something.
Yeah, he's probably exhausted. Here, let me...
The 2 men find a way to get the 2 deer untangled.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna make it, huh?
Drug him a long way.
Do you want to field dress him, or I could sure help you if you want to.
I've never actually done it myself. I used to skin deer and elk, but I never did it out here. I honestly didn't know what to do.
No, you did the right thing. He's got to be exhausted. I don't know what we'll do. Maybe if he recovers a little bit, he might get up and run away, but he might be so far spent now that...
I mean, you can see the ground.
Yeah.
He got pretty rough with it.
But if he's too far gone, we might just dispatch him.
The warden volunteers to help the hunter field dress his deer. He hopes the 2nd buck might perk up while they work. An hour later, the buck still struggles.
Well,
what are you gonna do with that guy? Leave him here?
I don't think he's gonna make it. I might just euthanize him, put him out of his misery. I honestly don't think he's probably gonna make it. He can't even hold his head up, so. Yeah, well, I think I'll go ahead and euthanize him, and then we won't have to watch him suffer anymore.
Need a hand getting that one out of here?
Yeah, sure.
Up in Region 5, Montana Game Warden Nick Taylor wants to find a group of out-of-town hunters accused of trespassing and illegally killing a mule deer.
Howdy, gentlemen.
Afternoon. Good.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Good.
How you doing?
Good. I'm Nick Taylor.
James.
James, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Oh, yeah.
Well, all right, gentlemen. So you guys probably know why I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like you guys got a deer, and we got maybe a little bit mixed up right where you were.
Yeah.
Once you
used to hunt, we can't hunt anymore.
Yeah. Why don't you guys tell me what happened there?
We just came in, and thought we could hunt, you know.
Sure.
And in a particular area, we knew that Dave had lost some leases.
Okay.
The end part out. Yeah, the end. The first road in, we used to hunt and come down all that in.
I know where you gentlemen were.
He said, okay, he lost the lease
okay.
to that, and you know, then you can come down to the next one on down. From the second road down on in, then we were good.
Okay.
But that's not the case. It's just so.
Sure.
Yeah. And they apparently fuzzy lines and no markings, no postings, no.
Yeah. No
BLM boxes, no nothing.
Yeah. You know, and it is in block management now. The
Didn't know that.
Yeah. And there's not a sign-in box. You have to get permission from the landowner to hunt there. And it's just a sign-in slip at his house, at his residence.
Didn't even know until last night.
Now you guys did harvest a deer down there?
Yes.
Well, let's take a look at that deer, okay? And you guys had some other luck too?
Yeah, I got one yesterday morning.
Okay, mule deer?
Yeah.
Okay, so which...
The one on the left is the one in question.
Okay, this one on the left, okay. Alrighty. When you guys, after you guys harvested this one, and John came up on you, my understanding is it wasn't tagged right away.
We did not put the tag on.
What?
We were just...
What happened?
Wore out. It was dark.
Okay.
We was dark, gutting this thing, you know, and I even cut tenderloin trying to get that stuff out. I said, let's run and we'll get Dan in the car, and then we can come back here, and then the Trevis can drag it over here, and then we'll tag him up and clean him up. That's
and now, was it...
we just forgot to put the... Never even thought about it.
Sure. You kind of get wrapped up in the moment, don't you? And
yeah.
I can appreciate that.
But you know, like we told John last night, you know, we took responsibility for where we were at last night.
Okay.
We didn't have one.
Okay.
No.
It was our screw up.
Yeah, sounds good, guys. And it looks, and it is. John does want to, you know, press some hunt without land permission charges. It's not a big deal. It's a $135 fine. You know, but it'll be a good reminder for you next time.
Oh yeah.
You know, and the biggest thing you kind of have to think of is when you come out to this part of the state, not from back home. You know, back home, gosh dang, there's trees. Yeah. Walking in the trees, you can hunt. You know, with all the Forest Service land and some of the big timber companies, especially down there in Darby, you know, all that Sula country, it's all public land.
It is.
We're out here, it's just not that way. But I am going to have to issue each one of you a citation, okay, for without permission. And James, I am going to have to take the deer, okay. And I understand it's your biggest deer yet, but you know, it's I got to take a partner. Yeah.
The men admit their mistake and accept their fines.
Here, this goes into Judge Not Afraid's court here in Bighorn County. The courthouse is located in Hardin, but the address is...
This is one error the warden hopes they won't make again.
I think some people learn a lesson. Other people, I think, they know they're violating the law. You'll catch them red-handed and they'll just completely deny everything. But a lot of it comes down to if people have character or not. And people with character and moral values, when they get caught, they're remorseful and they'll take their lumps. So these guys back here, they're some pretty good folks. So and they were a delight to deal with. I hope they have a good rest of their hunting season.
Near Billings, Montana, Region 5 State Game Warden Kevin Holland races to his first call. A tipster reports that a group of hunters is illegally harassing a herd of local elk.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Thank you for
Yeah. Good to have.
I noticed some lights parked on the highway. It happens all the time when the elk are here. They stop and watch them.
Sure.
No big deal to me, but when they start running them like this, they blow through my vision.
Yeah.
But he was up just where I could see him. About that yellow sign right there.
Okay, yep.
They're making their way, and they kept trying to cross, and he would cut them off.
Yeah.
He had his windows down right here, and here he is, cow calling him out his window.
Okay.
And I yelled at him. He didn't hear me, but I yelled at him once, telling him to get the hell out of here. You know.
Yeah.
Anyhow, they jumped the fence, and same thing. They'd run up a couple hundred yards, and they turned across. He'd stop them. I got in my pickup then. I went down to try and get a plate, but the truck was so dirty. All I got was 3.
Okay.
There's a black Suburban. They weren't really doing any of the hustling, but they pulled up on in front of him. They went down past him, pulled off on approach, and they all jumped out. And I went on by because I couldn't get any plates, and when I came back, they were all on the west side up here.
Do you know if those guys are still in there, or who knows?
I've been watching. I haven't seen anything take off south, but
okay. Well,
there's a black Suburban and a crew cab white.
We'll see what we come up with. Nick is coming. He'll be here in 20 minutes or half hour, and we'll look around, see what we come up with.
Coming up, Wardens call a bluff.
Nobody.
Yeah, they were.
Yes, they were.
No.
Yeah, they were.
There was another pickup truck that come this way.
It was your guys' vehicles.
There's a fresh set of tracks there.
Today's Streamlight Spotlight focuses on Montana's Region 5, where State Game Wardens Kevin Holland and Nick Taylor investigate a tip call. A witness has reported a group of hunters harassing a herd of elk.
Well, about 6:30 this morning, I got a call from a gentleman up here in Custer, and said there was a white vehicle being suspicious on the road. Turned their lights off and on when other vehicles approached it, and I knew that the elk were crossing regularly in this area. And then we got a Tipmont call from a complainant that said that some people were harassing elk. Gave good description of the vehicle. I decided I was going to come on that. There was elk in the area.
The determined wardens explore the scene and discover several key pieces of evidence. They spot tire tracks and blood, and their keen investigative senses are about to pay off.
Sweet. Right there. Here's my bonus for the day. I got a 20 spot right there, baby.
$20.
Hey, I got money.
Oh, get out of here, you ass mine! Give me that money!
Give me that money! Give me that money!
Oh, jeez. $60.
Give it up! Ah, you're still leaving it.
Oh.
More!
Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me.
There's our overtime pay for the holiday. What do you got?
$40. Those guys, we're gonna have to find them and give them back. It's like $100.
The wardens have a bit of fun, but the cash becomes evidence as well.
Oh, shoot.
Suddenly, a truck approaches. It matches the witness's description. Now, wardens want answers.
Anyway, part of the reason we're down here, we just need to check and patrol and see what's shaking, and that's good.
I understand.
The other question we have, the other problem we had is if you could tell us exactly how this hunt unfolded this morning.
Oh, I got here this morning and pulled in down here, and they were out.
They were on this side
there,
and I was up by that house.
We were waiting hoping they'd cross.
And then
Why were you hoping they'd cross?
I was hoping they'd cross at some point so he could shoot, but if they didn't, I was going to shoot a cow.
You know, were you ever out of your vehicle this morning yelling at elk or driving elk on the highway?
I didn't get here until
I parked over, like you said, like in the driveway of that deal, and they were.
So we wouldn't have any witnesses that tell us otherwise.
Like I said, I got here.
I got a call at 6:30 this morning saying that there was a white Ford being suspicious, turning their lights off when vehicles were coming down the highway.
You two guys can stay there.
I never turned my lights off once.
Okay. Well, this is where we're at. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we need to know exactly what happened so we can get to the bottom of this right now today.
Okay. But I never once got out of my truck, and I never shut my lights off.
Who got out of their truck and was yelling at the elk?
Nobody.
Yeah, they were.
Yes, they were.
No.
Yeah, they were.
There was another pickup truck that come this way.
It was your guys' vehicles.
Your guys' vehicles.
It was your guys' vehicles.
No, but they stopped and watched the elk out there the same time I was parked. I was down that way, and they were about a quarter mile this way.
Okay.
There was a pickup, I think it was a white, I don't know what it was, but they parked, or they stopped, and they watched the elk for probably a couple minutes, and then they kept driving. But I never honked my horn, and I never got out.
Well, let me ask you guys, do you have a cow call with you?
No.
Do you have one with you? These guys?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm going to go talk to them in a second. Sure. We're going to, all the stuff we're going over with you, I'm going to go over with them. If somebody was cow talking them too.
Well, the stories just aren't lining up, guys. Okay.
While Taylor and Holland continue their questioning, Game Warden Lee Burrows works another area in Region 5. he's headed to a possible poaching violation. A caller accuses another hunter of shooting an elk before legal hunting hours. Burrows hooks up with fellow warden Paul Lupke.
You're over here now. What happened, Lee?
Well, I'll show you.
Was that gut pile back there by that?
Yeah, at the roster box?
Yeah.
Yep. What happened was that hunter signed in at about 6:15. He signed in just after 2 other hunters, and they got an exact time, and they said it was 6:15, so it was clearly dark. And then that other hunter was parked up on the crest of that hill, and he was glassing these elk in this cornfield here. And he heard that shot at 6:30, pulled out, and he got down here at 6:33. He looked on his dash of his pickup. So, you know, I'm very confident that that elk was shot at 6:30.
On scene, the 2 wardens search for clues.
That hunter signed in. He drove up here, and you can see where his tracks start to pull off the road here. He takes a couple steps down here, and he stops and he squares off, and those elk are right there. And he picks out that lead cow, he told me, and he just, boom. And he's only 60 inches from his tire track. So he's only 5 feet off the edge of the road, but he's still on the shoulder of the road. And if you look up and down the road, here's probably about where the roadway ends. So see, clearly he'd have to be out here before he could make that legal shot.
In Montana's Region 5, State Game Wardens Kevin Holland and Nick Taylor question hunters about a possible game harassment. The wardens split up the suspects and talk to them separately. Wardens want to see if their stories match up.
So let's talk about what you did and didn't do and where you're at and how did your morning unfold? Tell me what happened.
We drove up. Chad was already up there on the road. We came this way.
Somewhere up where that house is, that gentleman was saying?
Yeah, towards the top of the hill.
Yeah.
He was watching the elk that were on guys coming across. And so we came by, and we ended up on this side because Clint said I can shoot a cow on that side of the road in the 700 district.
Correct.
So we come over here, opened the gate, got in. And that's when we saw the whitetail. And then we saw the elk come across, because what actually ended up pushing, there was a rig, when those elk were standing right on the fence line, there was a rig that came past them right there. And what eventually pushed the elk over the fence. I mean, they're coming this way anyways, they were just stopping the fence, because there was about 20 vehicles that went by while we were out here.
So why do you suppose we have a guy giving us a written statement that the white rig and the black rig, you know, stopping, moving, harassing, chasing, forward, backward, moving, waving the arms, getting out of the vehicle?
Waving the arms?
Yeah.
Nobody got out of vehicles, nobody waved arms, nobody honked horns. We were on the highway.
I'm just, I mean, I don't make this up.
No, I know, I'm just saying. But everybody here has hunted enough years, and we're from Montana. Don't do it. Because, you know, you can get your in the ringer.
Yeah.
Across Region 5, Warden Lee Burrows investigates a possible poaching case. Using information from the public sign-in box, Burrows tracks down the hunter in question. The cooperative suspect agrees to meet wardens at the scene.
One other thing that other guy said when he came down here, he asked you if you shot a little early, and you said, I don't think so. And then he made the comment, and you said, I think it's 6:30. Do you remember saying that, or?
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah. And
like I said, I was limited in what I was saying to him, because I could tell he wanted to get confrontational with me. I told you that. Right. And I didn't.
So he seemed a little agitated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. Like I said, the first thing he asked me, he goes, was there a bull in there? And I said, yeah. He says, pretty good one. I said, a 6-point, I think. I wasn't really focused on him.
Right.
But there was a good bull in there.
Right.
And I think he said, well, we've got a bull tag. And he said, then that's when he started going on about the little early thing.
Well,
now you know where I live and everything, and
Yep.
you know, and like I said, I'm not trying to hide nothing from you.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm gonna, work with you. I'm in this thing I like doing it. And
Sure.
I'm in it for the long haul. And
Sure.
I got one boy that likes to hunt. I want to set an example for him.
Right. And I appreciate that. And like I told you last night, you've been a gentleman to work with, and I appreciate that.
And I will be.
Yeah.
I don't agree with. I mean, you got a job to do, and
right.
And I'm gonna.
Yeah.
If I'm in the wrong, I'll make right.
Right. All right. That sounds good.
All right.
Thanks.
Nice seeing you guys.
All
yeah.
right. We'll talk to you later.
Yep.
He told me it's, the first elk he's ever killed out in the open, and he didn't have to pack it out. So I think most of our violators are, people like this guy here, they're decent people, and they see an opportunity like this. The elk are right in front of them, within 100 feet. And
yeah.
So he just jumps out, doesn't want to miss that opportunity, and he doesn't get off the road, and he shoots that elk. The law is the law, whether it's, you got to be off the road or you got to wait until legal shooting light. That doesn't mean they're poachers, but just had a momentary lapse in judgment.
Yeah.
Warden Burroughs decides to follow up with his witness again. He wants to double-check a few facts.
Yeah, I said, well, it's a little early to be shooting. He said, oh no, it's 6:30. I just said, you gotta check your regs, because that was a little early.
Well, he said he was pretty sure it was, quarter till or later.
Oh, no, it was 6:30.
Okay. All right, well, I appreciate it, and I'll look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, thank you, sir. Bye.
In Montana's Region 5, Wardens Nick Taylor and Kevin Holland try to figure out if hunters harassed a herd of elk and illegally harvested 2 bulls. They have eyewitnesses and suspects, but the hunters in question contend that they did nothing wrong.
This is a he said, she said.
Yeah.
I wasn't here. We don't know what happened. So I said to the other guys, I said, we'll write a ticket. You tell your story, the complainant will come in and tell his, and the judge will make a decision. I mean, that's how that's going to shake out.
I just think that's a bad idea. We got the problem is we got 1 or 2 against 5. We do know someone was outside their vehicle yelling and screaming at elk and honking the horn. But the thing is that, the guy in the White Fork, he has the elk permit on this side of the road. So they definitely want the elk to get on this side of the road because he can't shoot that bull.
That's right.
He can't shoot that bull over here.
So why would he try to stop it? Doesn't make sense he would try to stop him.
Well, unless they were staying. I could only see someone wanting to push elk if they drove down into this property and then pushed it up. That would make more sense to me.
That didn't happen. Yeah.
That doesn't sound like that happened.
Without concrete evidence, the wardens can prove no wrongdoing. They must release the hunters.
I got a question for all 3 of you.
Sure.
Any of you guys do cash business?
Cash business?
Yeah, you do a lot of work, in your personal lives and your business, whatever you do, it does a lot of cash.
Anybody have cash in their pocket today?
Who's feeling rich?
Well, not me. Who's buying breakfast? Is that what you're asking? I got $10.
I might buy breakfast.
I got lots of plastic.
I've
got $80. Don't tell my wife.
Do you have any bucks in there?
Well, I found a handful of money over here.
Oh, about $100.
As a matter of fact, I do all sorts of cash.
I haven't.
If we have any more issues out here, we have license plates, addresses. We know who the people are that are out here.
Yeah.
And the one guy said he's out here 4 or 5 days a week. So this one's closed.
Seems fair.
Seems fair. Let's go. Let's go have breakfast.
We can't do like a chest bump or anything?
Oh, yeah, go on, baby.
Across Region 5, Warden Lee Burroughs' possible poaching case remains unsolved. He now runs the evidence past Sergeant Randy Arnold.
So at 6:30 he heard the shot, so he drove down there and he asked the guy, he said, "You're a little early, aren't you?" I think yesterday legal shooting light was 648. So I think based on those 2 hunters and the fact that, you know, they were there at 6:15 and this guy heard, he was up here on the hill. He heard the shot at 6:30.
Well, and this is definitely one of the spots where if a guy's shooting early, it's because he's going to beat the other guys that signed in. He knew darn well he didn't want to wait until legal shooting light sitting on, for 2 reasons. Those elk are going to leave that corn and cross the road.
Right.
Or then another hunter's going to come along. I mean, this is a pretty competitive spot.
Right.
If they catch him out there at all, they've got a couple minutes of time to catch him out on that side. Every hunter I've talked to says, but you got to make sure that you're the first one there, and you got to make sure that you get them before they go back across the road. And people know that. Yeah, if you've got hunters that heard the shot, saw exactly what time it is, and they're willing to testify to that, you're going to have an easy 15 minutes early. And based on the fact that they still had their headlights on, how's he been to work with?
Well, he's been cooperative, and you know, he acknowledged that he was on the shoulder of the road, but you know, he's still saying that it was legal shooting light. But how does he know if he didn't have a watch and if he never looked at the clock on his dash? And I said, well, I kind of find it a little hard to believe that when someone comes up and talks to you window to window and said you shot early, the first thing I would have done was glance at my dash clock to see what time it was. And he said, well, I never even thought about it. And he said, I don't wear a watch. But
well, he's building a good defense for not knowing what time it was.
Right. But exactly.
The wardens find enough evidence to charge the hunter. Now, Warden Burrows must inform the suspect.
I'm going to issue a citation for shoot before the legal shooting hours, which is a violation of commission rules and regulations. It's a $135 ticket. Then I'm also going to give him a written warning for shoot from the roadway. Even though he was standing on the shoulder of the road, you know, it's a little bit hard to define. There's no fence, no real deep borrow ditch, so we'll go with a written warning on that.
The nature of the violation requires the warden to confiscate the harvested animal. The state will keep the meat in cold storage pending the outcome of the case. Upon conclusion, the meat will be donated to a local food bank.
I'm not sure what Mr. decided he'll do, but the charge will be filed in Golden Valley County Justice Court, and we'll let the justice system work its way.
Eastern Montana is located in a major flyway for western waterfowl. With an abundance of rich habitat, there's no shortage of places to find birds. A popular duck pond that sits close to town is a cause for concern for some local business owners and residents.
Hey, Bryce, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Say, well, there's the duck that was on the road. Okay. Those guys are on an island, right? If you go through there.
Okay.
Right down, just drive right to it.
Okay.
And that's where they're at. I mean, they've got permission to be over there.
Okay.
It's just that with this one being on the road.
No, I understand.
And I've had people. In fact, I had my one of the gals that comes and feeds our horses. It was Sunday morning.
Okay.
They shot right over her head.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, you know, it's part of hunting season in Montana.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I hunt myself.
Yeah.
But, you know,
This caller says nearby hunters are pressing their luck with unsafe shots. He wants the shooting stopped.
I don't mind people hunting and fishing.
Just want them to be safe when they're doing it.
You know.
No, I hear you.
And to have them shoot ducks over thin ice like that. He came over and says, "Oh, we're gonna go get a fishing pole to try to get those ducks off the ice."
Good luck, huh?
Good luck with that.
Got to be pretty damn good with that fishing pole.
Yeah,
And that's a long cast.
Yeah, okay. It sounds like they have permission to be out here, and it seems like your guys' concern is more of a public safety issue.
I guess that I didn't even have a problem with them because I knew they had permission to be
Sure.
But as I'm driving out and I see a duck on the road, I'm like, you know, concrete guys are over here working. And sure, yeah, maybe they shot it over there and it flew that far.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't. I just would prefer they were a lot more careful, and a brainiac would have seen there's ice and said, oh, maybe we shouldn't shoot anything today.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a, really as far as, you know, telling them you know, to be safe and stuff. I mean, there's not a lot of legalities on that unless they do cause damage to property. You know, that's the best I can tell you.
Oh, that's fine.
But you know, I mean, as far as somebody hunting, you know, in a little hidey hole like this, we're always interested in coming out and checking them. I mean, definitely. You know, we'll just kind of go from there.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Yeah, guys, don't hesitate to call.
Yeah. Well.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we are just gonna make a couple phone calls. Sounds like this pond is owned by a couple separate different landowners, and they possibly have permission through a different landowner. But we'll just give him a phone call and see if we can sneak out there and see what's going on.
Over in Region 4, Warden Brian Goley keeps an eye on the Beartooth Game Range. It's opening morning of elk season, and the warden expects a crowd.
This, anticipation, and all the traffic that was going around yesterday, all the people at the Beartooth, had a lot of problems up here in the past.
This game range sits between Helena and Great Falls and attracts plenty of enthusiastic hunters.
Hi, how'd it go?
Well, first time. First elk, 55 years old.
Wow.
Yep, and first shot.
I guess that'll work.
Well, I think so.
How far up you go?
Backside of Pollock Timbers.
Right around here? Gotcha.
Well, actually,
We came up the backside.
Came up the backside.
We just rode on.
You got a 455 tag?
Yeah, I do.
Awesome. Okay. Well, what'd you see for other people?
Saw two younger guys walking.
You guys didn't see any problems of any kind?
No, not at all.
All right. Well, we're gonna go find some.
You did be in Montana.
It is.
Thank you very much.
Yep, you guys be careful finishing it out. Great day to be in Montana. I think you should put that on TV.
Back in Montana's Region 5, Warden Nick Taylor tries to track down duck hunters staked out on a local hunting spot. The pond sits close to local businesses, and workers worry the shots are too close.
Howdy.
How are you?
Good. How's the hunting?
Oh, it's been interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You guys getting a few birds?
We got a couple on the ice here. That
Okay. Alrighty.
Towards the thaw, and my buddy had to go to a meeting, and he was going to grab a fishing pole or a boat.
Okay. Is it just you here?
No, there was two of us. He had left.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. You got your bird license with you?
I do. Yeah, and my buddy went. There was a bird that we had hit. He had hit and then went back behind, and he went to go get him. The guy started cussing at him, wouldn't get his bird.
No kidding.
Looks good, Sean.
And you said you got a couple birds?
There's two out there, one on the ice, and there's one out there, and we're waiting to, he's either, if it doesn't thaw, my dog had to bust ice, but I didn't want him to bust that ice through, or he was getting hurt.
Yeah,
So he's either gonna bring an aluminum boat back or a fishing pole.
Okay. Who's your buddy that's out here with you?
Justin.
Justin?
Yeah, I can give you his phone number.
Yeah, why don't you? You know, one of the reasons I'm out here today is because, you know, these people are concerned. They have a concern of, you know, their property getting shot up. Apparently somebody this weekend was in getting horses, and they say that someone shot over their head. So just be mindful of that when you're hunting down here.
Absolutely.
And that's about as far as I'll go on that. You know, I do have that other bird. I got that other bird from that guy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and when I leave, I'll just throw that in the back of your truck.
Oh.
It's a Drake mallard.
Yep, Drake mallard.
Sounds like you guys got a couple mallards, so just be mindful of the limits and stuff. You know all the limits.
Absolutely.
All that, okay? Yep, it's six.
5 mallards.
5 mallards, 2 hens. Yep. And then the other thing that just concerns me a little bit is down when the deputy came out here. Did he check your other guy's license?
He yes.
Okay.
As far as the hunting license.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound like he did. What concerns me is you know, he told you that I was going to be coming out here and then when I do come out here, the other guy's gone. Right. So does that guy have a?
He had a meeting.
Does he have a bird license?
Oh yeah, yeah. Justin does. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Justin. You can look it up.
Okay.
He's in the system.
Because that's just something in the world of game wardening.
Sure.
When a person knows I'm coming out and then they disappear, that's through my experience. That's something that we want to. It's a red flag.
No, and he would welcome a call.
Okay, and I'll give Justin a call. I'll throw the other bird in the back of your truck.
Perfect.
And we'll just call her good. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, partner.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, stay warm.
You bet.
All right, we'll see you. Return this duck to its rightful harvester.
The warden makes a quick call to the second hunter and confirms he has a valid hunting license. He returns the duck and calls the case closed.
Well, that worked out good. He took off there after I had that deputy tell him that I was going to come and chat with him, and then he took off, so I was a little bit suspicious that he didn't have a license. And I had one of our support staff at our office check him, and he had the state license. Unfortunately, we don't track the federal licenses. So I called him. I called him, and he just called me back. And I had him describe what duck was on the stamp, and he said wood duck, and that's what duck it is this year. So that satisfies me. If he would have said, if he would have done one of those, I'm like, we got a problem. What we're gonna do now is we had a landowner complaint this morning that came into our office, so we're just following up on that and just see where that takes us. So stay tuned.
In Montana's Region 4, the Streamlight Spotlight focuses on the Beartooth Game Range. It's opening morning of elk season, and Warden Brian Goley's first complaint quickly comes in.
What's up?
This guy here had shot a bull, and this spike come running down there and damn near killed him. We ran 10 feet with him.
Where's the spike?
In the back of my pickup.
So who did the shooting on this bull?
That gentleman right there in the orange hat.
This your bull, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can I see your permit?
These hunters shot at one animal, but now have 2 dead elk.
Can you tell me where what happened with the spike then?
It was up, I guess Pollock Mountain, what you call it.
Okay.
All right, sitting up there, a couple of bulls are already going in from like around 6, still sitting in the thick grass as I walked over there.
Okay.
So I just watched them. So when the shooting started above, I noticed, I started looking around, I seen all the bulls stand up.
Okay.
So I was picking out, I shot this one, I shot him a total of 3 times.
Okay.
So when he was down, he was getting ready to die. I heard something behind me, so when I turned around, it's the spike coming behind. But I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
So I'm thinking it's just charging. So
okay.
Like right before it gets to me, take a hard dive, like slide under.
Okay.
So from that point, I didn't know what was going on. So I went ahead and field trip distance. We went on my other party out here. He was on the party of the 3 parties on our thing.
Come up here real quick. So when you were up there hunting, how many other people were hunting? Hold on to that.
It was our 3 parties.
Okay.
We seen a couple of people come on the horses.
Okay.
Seen a couple of people on bicycles.
Right.
And that was it, but it was a whole lot of more shooting.
All right. Were you the only one in your group that shot a gun today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
The warden suspects this hunter accidentally killed 2 elk with 1 shot. The warden will allow the hunter to keep the bull he aimed at, but the state will confiscate the smaller second elk.
Huh. That's a spine shot. I can't believe it could even run.
Yeah.
It's got bone.
He's a good shot.
Interesting. How many yards away was he when you first saw him?
Probably maybe 20, 30 yards away. He got within 10.
I'm just trying to figure out, whoever shot this had to be pretty close to you.
When I say it was like shots,
yeah.
6 or 7 shots on top of me.
Yep.
That would make mine stand up. When he stood up,
when he stood up, mine stood up, and I'm like, and like I say, I could.
Was yours alone then?
No, it was like 5, like I say, 5 to 7.
You think one of your bullets went through the other elk and hit this one?
No.
You don't think that happened?
I don't think there's no way possible it happened.
All right. So the shots you first heard?
They was in the taller trees
On
up to the
like more than 100 yards away?
More than 100 yards.
Yeah, that's when the bull that we checked got killed. So we checked the bull. It's coming out now. They came from around the timber and came down the road, and they killed it. As you're going up, there's a big grump of timber. They killed it on the backside. So what I'm trying to do is figure out if you had a pass through or an overshot and hit this elk.
I mean, you check mine. All 3 of my hoses in mine.
They're in your elk.
He was nowhere near. He was nowhere near my deer.
Right.
Even after he failed.
Well, if we can rule you out, that'd be great.
I mean, you on back of the truck.
You definitely have 3 pass-throughs on that?
Yes, sir.
All right. But you see, just because you have 3 pass-throughs on that doesn't mean one didn't go through and go through this.
I understand that.
So when you first shot, was this elk anywhere near yours?
Not even close.
So your elk was by itself?
The elk was over here standing off on the
all by itself?
All by itself, and then you had like 4 or 5 over here.
If I can rule you out, that leaves the other guy that I just talked to.
Okay.
That could have shot it. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So if I can make sure that you're not the one, then I have to talk to him and find out if he was, and if he had a pass-through.
I have no problem.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll donate the elk to somebody besides you guys. And the reason I say that is if there's any question about it, you guys never benefited from this elk if it was an accident, okay? You did exactly the right thing. And the reason that is the only way in the state of Montana that you can possess an animal legally yourself is to shoot it and tag it yourself.
In Montana's Region 5, State Game Warden Nick Taylor wraps up a long day on patrol. As dusk slowly fades to dark, he spots a suspicious boat on the Bighorn River.
You know, we're here right now. We know there's a boat on the water. And so we're just kind of in a position where it's good to just sit and wait. And, you know, maybe if they're deer hunting, they can come back and maybe they have an untagged deer or something like that. You never know. This river stuff is funny. There's a lot of opportunity. And people get out on a boat. They kind of get in the middle of the river and they think, you know, nobody's watching or nobody cares. And there's a lot of people that do. So.
Warden Taylor's persistence pays off. After dark, the boat heads for the dock.
So these guys are coming from the Bighorn upstream. They can only go about 3 miles upstream because there's a diversion dam you can't pass. It's 5:15 right now. They do have a light. So they got decoys because they're bird hunters. I'm getting nervous. So what kind of birds we got here, guys?
Well, Canadian geese.
Okay.
I've got 3 Canadians that are mine right here.
Okay.
On the hooks.
Okay. And what do you got there, partner?
They're all males.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say, tell me how.
Yeah.
How do you know? All right, well, you guys got some bird licenses. Let's take some bird licenses.
That's mine. I'm from Idaho.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Very good.
I don't see my darn duck stamp.
So you don't have your, did you lose your state stamp there?
You know, I thought I had everything.
Okay.
Right here.
Do you remember buying a federal stamp, Dan?
Yeah.
Where did you buy your federal stamp at?
Walmart, I think.
Walmart. So to hunt migratory birds, no, you need the federal stamp and you need the state stamp. Okay.
Okay.
And you don't have either today. Now, I can track. You know, if I can look up if you had the state stamp, but there's no actually way for I can look up if you had the federal stamp. Okay. You could, because it's a stamp. You can buy it at, you know, like you said, Walmart. You can buy it at Shields. You can buy it at our office. Yeah. There's no way for me to track that. So I'm not I'm not calling you a liar that you bought it, but what I do know is we don't have it here right now, okay? I'll tell you what, Dan, my truck's parked right over here. Can you just follow me over there real quick, okay? Thank you.
This hunter doesn't have state or federal waterfowl stamps. Now he's got a problem.
You know, when it's not any different from when you're deer hunting or you're elk hunting. You know, you gotta have those licenses with you, okay? And I think what might have happened is maybe you lost some licenses, and then you just didn't get that state stamp replaced, okay? But yeah, and I think that's probably what happened. And so what I am going to do is I'm going to write you a citation for failed to have federal waterfowl stamp, okay? It's not the end of the world. You know, it's not axe murder stuff, right? Okay. It's nothing you can't get over. But, you know, at some point, you know, I have to do my job, okay? And I think you can understand that and appreciate that. And it'll take me 10, 15 minutes to scratch these out, and we'll get you on home, okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it. Yep. All right, thank you very much. I'll be right with you. Folks come out here from out of state and hunt migratory birds, and they'll buy their non-resident state stamp, and they'll have their federal waterfowl stamp from another state. Well, if they don't bring with them, there's no way that we know that they have it or not. And so it puts us in a bad position because, you know, we're not out to, you know, write everybody tickets and do stuff like that. But in a situation like that where we can't track it and they can't show it in the field, we don't have a choice other than to issue that citation.
The funds generated through the purchase of duck stamps are vital for wetland conservation. The charge for hunting without a federal duck stamp runs $135.
Oh, I've never gotten change before. I tell you what, let's see if I have $3 I can change you out. Because I don't think the court would like me turning in change to them. That might give me a bad name in Yellowstone County. Well, looks like we're good to go. Yeah, I appreciate your time. Right. You guys drive safe, okay?
All right, thank you.
Maybe we'll see you again sometime.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I wish everybody I dealt with was as good as man as that man. That's a good man. We need more of those kind of people.